So about Hajime no Ippo, for those who ever wondered where my YouTube profile picture came from, because I know it looks pretty awesome, it's actually from Hajime no Ippo. I don't know why, but it feels like really popular but not popular at the same time. It obviously has some sort of following with how long the manga is. It's only 25 chapters away from its 1400th chapter, so there's definitely a reason for it to be still ongoing. I was surprised when I first heard about it being that long. For a while, I thought One Piece was the longest ongoing manga, at least out of the more relevant series out there, and there were no other series that I could see that were close at all to One Piece. The closest were probably like Bleach or Naruto. They both ended in the 600s or 700s. So once I finished One Piece, I thought I would never find another show that would be anywhere near as long as it. But when I found out that this series actually surpassed it, I was pretty shocked. I started reading the manga after I finished the anime. I actually watched the anime twice. The first time I went through the series, I went straight to the most recent season, because when I saw it, I was watching it on Crunchyroll, and for some reason they were streaming only the last season, so I wasn't aware that there were any other seasons before that. So I just finished that season and I went about my day. For a long time I had no idea that there were even other seasons out there, because the other seasons have a decent gap in the years that they came out in. It wasn't until probably almost a year later until I noticed. I was talking to my friend about the series, because he also watched it, and he starts bringing up fights I don't remember, so I was talking to him confused if we were talking about the same show, and then he showed me the fights on his phone as proof, and he made me realize that I skipped a few seasons by accident, so I started to rewatch the show for a second time, all the way from the real first episode. And it was obviously pretty good. I enjoyed the first and second seasons a lot. I guess since I started from the actual start, I grew a lot more attachment to the characters. The first watch through I thought it was pretty good, but after a while I didn't think much else about the series. But the second time when I started from the first seasons, I grew a lot more attached to the series. So I wanted to continue reading the series to see what else was going on. The anime at this point ended a long time ago, which is another thing with the anime. The way they ended it was pretty weird, but I'll talk about it later. But yeah, I decided to go read the manga, and I was going in assuming the manga would be over, because the way the anime adapted the episodes made it look like it was a series made a while ago, and it is. The series is like 3 decades long or close to it, so I was really surprised to see that the manga was still going on, more by the fact that it surpassed even One Piece in quantity, which meant it was still being published semi-consistently. Usually at this point, you would be lucky to get even a handful of chapters a year with a series that's been going on for this long. But yeah, I ended up picking up where the anime left off, which was around chapter 500 I'm pretty sure, and ever since then I never looked back. I don't really rank animes or series in general as being the best or my favorite, because it can depend heavily on what I'm feeling at the moment. Like if I just saw a really good episode of a series or a clip of a show that I finished a while ago, it would make me more likely to rank that show higher. But I can honestly say that right behind One Piece, Hajime no Ippo is consistently my number 2 favorite series, so that's why I wanted to talk about it today. What qualities about the show make it still enjoyable, even though it has been going on for so long? Before that though, like and subscribe for future content. I remember seeing a video from Super Eye Patch Wolf on Hajime no Ippo. It was a really good video on the series, so check him out as well if you want. But yeah, at some point in his video, I'm pretty sure he mentioned something about recyclability of the series, where the series can recycle a lot of the old elements it uses and still make them work, which is honestly a really good point you don't even think about. When you break down the series, each fight follows the same formula. We follow each fighter for a bit while they train to see how they feel about the fight and learn a little bit about their reasons for fighting and all that. Then the way in where they actually meet each other, and after that we get to the fight itself. That wasn't really the best way of saying how each fight goes. I honestly skipped over a lot of stuff, but in general most fights follow that formula, and every time it ends up working really well. Because of how boxing works, there's not really that many ways to change it up to a point that feels drastically different. Each fight fundamentally has to go down the same formula. The way Morikawa is able to keep it fresh is because of the diverse range of characters, which brings me to another point about the series, the characters. This is honestly extremely rare for me to say about a series, but there are legitimately 0 characters I think are bad in the series. Usually, even in good series, there are at least 1 or 2 characters that I don't like, but in Hajime no Ippo, any noteworthy character at all is enjoyable in their own way. Even some of the ones that aren't so noteworthy are. Some characters are built up from being background characters into likable characters. When Yamada was first introduced, I really thought of nothing at all about him, but if you know how it turned out later on with his character, you would probably say that that was not where you thought his character was headed in the slightest. The comedy in the series is a really nice bonus as well. I really don't find much of any animes funny at all. Most series have pretty corny humor that never lands. People say that it is a cultural thing, but I find it hard to believe Japanese people in my age group genuinely laugh at that kind of stuff. Only a handful of series I watch have I found actually funny, and Hajime no Ippo is definitely among them. The jokes actually feel like jokes, and have nice comedic timing. Chapters where there's not even anything going on but the gym just hanging around are really enjoyable. Even if you aren't a sports anime fan, I still think you would enjoy the series a lot. I guess you could call it a gateway type of series. But yeah, this is more or less why I think Hajime no Ippo is definitely a show you should pick up. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe for future content. Peace.